The role of men towards women. This is a very important topic, especially towards our women folks. They're going through, in this age and time, in the culture that we are living in, so much of stress and challenges, and it differs according to occupation and age. So it is very important for me to address both the relative aspect of their situation, in other words, how to deal with our women working and going through these challenges, but also the absolute aspect. How in the first place can we help situations like these from not happening? Well, right away you're thinking, these things are bound to happen and society can only go in one direction. Every building has a foundation. Every challenge, every issue that seems to have no solution actually does have one. And it all boils down to what we stand for as human beings. So, I will go to the relative aspect later on, how we can help our women folks directly to be more comfortable in their workplace and other professions, or even as housewives at home. And so for now, think about, talk about, present about the training of or the role of men towards women at the early stages of a woman's life. So, it all begins with the role of a father to a daughter. Yes, first of all, generally speaking, we all know that the pride of a woman is to become the better half of the family. There, she has a certain role to play as the better half of the family. And so when she is smaller, the father has to take up a very important role. Yes, both parents has to work together, but it is a duty of the father to ensure that certain perspectives are met. And this is because he can do it. He has the mental aspect and the bodily aspect to focus and understand very important perspectives. So, as a father, he has the ability, the, the austerity, the focus, the dedication that is required to understand the world around him and apply himself in so many situations. If a woman tries to understand the world around her and try to go beyond the system, then that would prove very difficult for her. This is because to actually think about the world around you, it's a very, very difficult process. It is very, very demanding. If a woman should pursue this, it will take toll on her body and her natural lifestyle, her health, and also the function as a mother. It will affect the function as a mother, her monthly cycles and so on. But if men, because they also have a bigger brain, they have to, and physiologically and psychologically designed to pursue the ways and means to find out the foundations of problems in society. They are designed for that. No matter how much austerity and focus that they make, their body and their mind are not affected. They will still fulfill other duties as well. But as I said, for the females, or the wives, they will be affected because they have very subtler processes that require her to be away from stress and frustrations. So, it is a man's job to perceive the bigger picture. And here is where the father role comes in. So, what is the father role? Of course, the father understands that his daughter will one day have the qualification or become mother. So she has to become the better half of the family, and the better half has to have certain perceptions. We find that the world is filled with all kinds of challenges. All of these pieces of life can be compared to a puzzle, a more difficult puzzle. But if you have the bigger picture, then the puzzle becomes easy to fix. So similarly, there are so many issues in life, but if we can understand the bigger picture, then we'll be able to deal with these issues. So this is the absolute aspect. And the first thing that the father teaches the daughter, or should teach the daughter, is this absolute aspect. That, you know what, my dear daughter, later on in life when you grow up, you will have to remind your husband about the bigger picture in life. The role that a man plays is that he must be brave, courageous, hardworking, dedicated, reliable. Sometimes in his work, he might forget this bigger picture. And now, the wife has to remember, to remind him about this bigger picture. Now, what is this bigger picture all about? That's very simple. This bigger picture has to do with what we stand for as human beings. That is the first thing that is taught to the daughter. What do we stand for as human beings? The bigger picture. What are the values that we should uphold, which, if followed, will uproot all of the challenges and issues that we are facing? So what is that bigger picture that should be imparted to the daughter? Well, it is to remember that we are human beings, and our identity is a humane identity, an identity of feelings. So, we are human beings, we have a humane nature, a nature that is deeply connected with feelings. Humane means to see things or do things with feelings. Then you're doing things humanely. So, doing things with feelings means to understand that we must value the feelings and freedom of all life. That's the first thing that is taught from a father to a daughter. That's the most fundamental thing, that when she grows up to become mother, to take the role of mother and other roles and other professions and so on, she will be able to remind the male counterpart and also others what the bigger picture is all about. And that's why in the case of marriage, the wife is referred to as the better half, because she has that bigger picture. And there's an important point here that if we do not value a particular species of life, then what happens there is that we will not value our own species. Let me give you an example, our perception. Say for example, our animals, the animals that we have, we are feeding them and we are taking care, giving protection to them every single day. They run to us to get food and protection. But one day, when they come for food and protection, they look up to us expecting to get this food and protection, but we grab them and we cut their necks off. Well, what happened there is very, very serious. What happens there is now, as human beings, we compromise, we cripple our ability to apply feelings. So when we approach back our dependents, our children, people who are functioning under us, we will not be able to apply that deep feeling anymore. We would have violated that feeling, that integrity of being humane, because of another species, a helpless species. So our food choices are very, very important, and I will talk about that in just a little while. It is deeply connected with what we stand for as human beings. Okay, so that's the first picture, that the father gives to his daughter. The importance of identity, a humane identity, that we are human beings, we're supposed to act humanely, and practically to value the feelings and freedom of all life. Because as I said, if you jeopardize one life, it has a backlash on our life. That's why the world is struggling so much, which I will not touch on now. So, that's the first thing that is taught by the father to the young woman or to the girl. So, she can become the better half of the family. She can become a better sister to a brother by always reminding them about the bigger picture in this life. So, that's the first role of the father there, how she should train his daughter. And of course, this applies to son as well. But as I said, that son will become a man, and man have his nature. Man tends to forget the intricacy or the bigger picture in this life. So the better half, which is the female part, have to remind the male part about this bigger picture. So we can see there how our makeup, how our build, how the psychology and physiological aspect of men and women put them in different roles. So that is the absolute aspect, the aspect that has to do with identity, that is presented to the from the father to the daughter. What is the other aspect that is presented to the daughter from the father? Remember, all of this later on in life will pay off because it will solve many of the challenges or avoid many of the challenges that we face later on. We can observe that many times our sons also and daughters, they are not trained up properly, and as such, as a teacher, it is my duty to educate everyone, especially our male aspect, because they're the one who is designed psychologically and physiologically to help with these things. So the relative aspect now, what is the relative aspect that is presented from the father to the daughter?